allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Nathan, you are first up.
Good morning, everybody. Updates on the courthouse project for you this morning, starting with change orders. I have one request to present for your approval today, change order 40, in the amount of $18,031.11. As I explained last week via email, the work covered by this CO addresses the north side sidewalk along the south side of Main Street, section about 90 feet long at the center of the block face in front of the main entrance to the courthouse. The INDOT-funded Winnemac project is replacing the north side sidewalk on either side of this section down to Market and Monticello streets. Unfortunately, some coordination issues between the two projects have left us in a situation in which having this section poured by ton and blank is the easiest, cheapest way to ensure that we meet our expectations for improved accessibility. We don't anticipate pouring this concrete until the spring, so approving it is not yet urgent. But the sooner we have the authorization, the sooner we can reflect this in our budget as we continue to monitor project finances.
When this scope of work and even with the specs for the cement, I guess I'm talking about, where the town has been putting rebar in for their sidewalks or wire, and what our specs require for to me, that is a difference too, when you go to talk about money for money.
So as far as the specs with materials, that sort of thing goes, I don't think there's any substantive difference. The big difference between what our intentions have been all along and what the Winnemac INDOT project calls for is that as their plans are drawn, it is just a straight sidewalk from Market to Monticello with ADA ramps at each intersection. What we have always intended is that in the front of the building, it would ramp down to street level so that we could provide handicap parking spots right in front of the building and have that accessibility instead of requiring anybody with mobility issues to have to walk or wheel 130 feet, give or take, to get into that, which arguably would be as bad or worse as the previous ramp issue of sending them from Meridian Street down to the basement.
I think we'd mentioned before, maybe trying to get with the town to recoup. They're saving so much money on so many yards of concrete that at least we could have that share.
Yeah, and I am happy to have that conversation, to put that on Kevin's plate, or the two of us do that. I just want that green light from you to have that conversation, and I will pursue that.
Okay. So if there's no hurry, I just suggest we just table it for now and
Okay.
get more information.
All right, I will take that to the town.
We do give you 3.
Thanks. Otherwise, over the last 2 weeks, there's only been one other change order request that I approved with Commissioner Lamer's authorization. This addressed a handful of control valves for the hydronic piping system that needed to be replaced, but were missed during drawing process just because they were not visible until enough demolition had occurred. Moving on to finances. With
One question, Nathan, on that, does that, those valves, does that address the zoning?
Partially, but what Larry and I have asked the engineers to look in is kind of a next step to that, but these are ones that need to go in either way. With change order 40 being on hold, we have a current balance in our owner's contingency of $241,402.11. We have a little more than $73,000 in future potential interest that can, upon be receipted, added to the contingency. Notwithstanding any insubstantial interest that is accrued this month. The tranche of funds held by First National has been exhausted. I have submitted one claim for the county-held funds with 3 more awaiting submission. I've requested feedback from bond counsel regarding the propriety of asking our trust officer to move that little bit of interest into the county's account, so I don't have to keep submitting disbursement requests for ever smaller amounts on the slightest bit of interest that keeps accruing on a dwindling balance. And project progress, most of the basement drywall has been hung and the painters have begun taping and mudding. There's still a little bit of framing going up, so drywall will be following in those locations. Grids for tile ceilings and framing for drywall ceilings are also currently being installed while MEP subcontractors continue with their work. A few more rooms' walls have been primed while wallpaper and other coatings continue to be removed throughout the building. Painters have continued working on parts of the tower, and the masons should be completely done with their work on the tower by the end of the month, early December at the latest, so it's entirely plausible that we'll start seeing scaffolding coming down before Christmas. Cannot guarantee this at point, but the masons think that their exterior restoration work should be completed by the end of the year. There'll still be site masonry work, some interior stuff, but the exterior walls should be looking as good as new by January. They expect to be able to set up tents to provide adequate protection for themselves and the materials from the elements as they continue their work. Any questions?
Are we still on schedule or on track?
I am waiting for Ton and Blank to give me an updated calendar. If you recall their original expectations that we'd be done by May, we're not going to hit that. I just don't know. It'll be in the 3rd quarter. I just haven't gotten an updated schedule. Part of that was having to slow things down to address the slab. A little bit has been pushing subcontractors to get moving a little bit. I know that the masons have doubled the number of lifts they have on site and increased the number of laborers so that they can catch up. So we're still looking at summer to early fall, hoping towards summer, but not May like they had originally anticipated.
So the masonry work that is climate sensitive, but they feel they can address.
They think so. They think with tents and whatever temporary heating sources, they'll be able to keep going.
We're still looking at, we meet with rowing Wednesday before Thanksgiving, still looking at their cost of the fiber going between the 2 buildings. Not gotten back with us on that. Anything else for Nathan? Okay, thank you. We're down to approving claims and payroll number 23.
Okay, I reviewed the claims and payroll 23, and I make a motion to approve as presented.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have the contract with Cardinal. This is our copier printer maintenance agreement. This is a 5-year agreement as it has been passed. Would need a motion to approve that.
Okay, I would make a motion to go forward with that.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the auditor's fee. This is ordinance 2024-07. We are increasing the fees for a charge of $10 per parcel. Copy of that, possibly. Effective date. Back, so it would be days past, I would imagine. So we would need a motion to approve the ordinance 2024-07.
So moved.
other discussion? Favor say aye.
Aye.
And we have a conference request from the recorder's office, Marcia Tetzloff, duly elected official, training in Plainfield, December 10th.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve Marcia's conference request.
Second.
That is through the 10th through the 11th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nathan or Larry, is there any update on the elevator?
I have a request. I would like to ask for the commissioners to allow me to spend $3,583 would be the acceptance for the new board, with an additional $3,583 for a total of $7,166.
Okay. So as a technician, have they been here to realize that that is a part that's
Yes, the
bad?
technician has been here, went through, checked everything, and that's what he come up with. He said it's slow speed is not operating correctly,
Okay.
not getting up to.
So we would need a motion to approve that expenditure. Their quote, 50% is up front and the other 50% completion of the work. Thank you.
So moved.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hey, Natasha, you had something for us.
Good morning. I would just like to ask permission to begin to apply to different grants that the county does not have to match. We have a few items that need updated. To look at our video laryngoscopes, it's going to be about $3,798 to replace our current models that they do not make any longer. As well as I would like to look at an additional power load. I will show you guys that after the meeting to see the difference between a power load versus a standard operational cot. And that quote comes down to $29,214, as well as I'd like to get some educational equipment for our training institute for our EMR, EMT, advanced, and our regular scheduled classes.
Any questions, grants?
So what is the process? We just give you the thumbs up to move forward? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Typically, I have to present it to the actual physical meeting before I can apply.
Okay.
So it was just permission to apply to anything that we see that we might qualify
Okay.
for.
Did have a question on the reimbursable grant for the ambulance, start that process. You know what are you requiring?
They applied with USDA to get a grant, and USDA came back and said 35, 65.
Yeah.
So they'll pay 35% of it, which is like around $95,000. And so I don't know what has to happen with the EMS to go back in, because this is a reimbursable grant, so something has to, the USDA will have to be informed that we've done this, we paid for it, and now we have to give us some money. And this is for the 2020. This is the just the ambulance that we did for her, yes.
Grant was not involved in the 26 model. So yes, it's paid for. Now what do we need to do to get the reimbursement money, make the account fully? Community comments? Anything from the board? Kevin, anything? Anything else, Laura? Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn. Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.